First thing you're going to need, if you're a guitar player playing at a gig, is one of these. You're going to need a guitar. Make sure you have a guitar when you go play a gig. Do not depend on other people. And what I mean by that is, you know, if you break a string or something like that, yeah, you may have to borrow your guitar to finish out your gig. That's fine. But make sure you have a guitar. Make sure you have a strap on that guitar. I've run into this. Can I borrow a strap? Can I borrow a strap? Can I borrow a strap? Now, here's the problem with that when they ask me this kind of stuff. All my guitars have strap locks, period. So you can't adjust the straps. They're locked into where they go from where I like it. And it's just too much of a hassle taking them off and resetting it for somebody else. So I've started carrying an extra strap for people to borrow. But make sure you have a strap. Carry two if you have to. And under the same thing, you know, if you have a backup, make sure you have a backup guitar also. In case you break a string on your guitar, you can pick one up real quick, snatch it out of your case, it's open right there beside you, and start playing again, where you're just right where you left off. Or start the song over. It doesn't make a difference in those situations. And like I said, sometimes people let you borrow their guitar, but make sure you have your main guitar and hopefully a backup. Bring a backup guitar. And here's another one. Get a stand for your guitar, so you don't have to lean it against a wall where it can get knocked over, or where, you know, lean it against the amp. Make sure you have your guitar out there where people can see it, and they see it and they're like, oh, it's a guitar player playing tonight. You know, you want to show off your instrument. I clean my guitars before I play. I clean them after I play because I sweat all over them. And there's nothing worse than a dirty guitar going up there and you see rusty strings and all that stuff on them, man. Clean your guitar. Put new strings on it before a gig. I don't care if you just bought a set of strings a month ago. Put some new ones on it before you play. It's not that hard. Another tip, if you're a singer and you like singing and playing guitar, get you a microphone. Now, granted, a lot of places, these coffee houses and places like that, they'll supply a small PA with microphones. I personally like to bring them anyway, and if I can change them out, I will. But if they don't want to do that, that's fine. I'll use what they got. But make sure you got a microphone with a cable, and don't bring a little 6-foot, 8-foot cable. Buy a cable for the future. Get you some 25-footers, because one day you're going to be on a big stage, and the snake might be 18, 20 feet away. You're going to need a 25-foot cable to hook your microphone in if they don't supply it. Just make sure you got one. Number 4, you know, I got it listed as 4, but bring a tuner. Tune your guitar. Make sure that when you tune your guitar, let me rephrase that. Bring a tuner. Tune your guitar, because there's nothing worse than singing to an out-of-tune guitar, because if your guitar's out of tune, you're going to sing out of tune. Picks. Bring picks. Now, you see this Altoid can? There's probably 10 or 15 picks in there of all different sizes. And I stress that with an S at the end, picks, because I've seen people come on gigs and they bring one pick with their guitar. And then you guess what happens? They drop it in the dark on the stage and they're like, somebody give me a pick. I keep a can of picks on my amp, this same Altoid can, open all the time. Plus on my mic stand, I have pick holders that'll hold about 4 or 5, actually about 10 picks, but I usually keep 4 of them on there. So bring picks. Number 7, and it's an instrument I really don't like using, but I will if I have to. I use it in recording a lot, and that's a capo. Now, I use these capos with the wheels on them, with the screws. I just love them. You can fine tune it once you clamp it on, you get the tension right. You can fine tune it because you can make it sharp or flat and get it fine tuned. The clip-ons are great. They're quick, they're fast. but they have a tendency to have one tension. You can't adjust them. Once it's clipped on, you can't adjust it. So if your guitar is basically a little bit out of tune, it's going to be out of tune when you clip it on too. So I'd recommend get one that you can fine tune. Do it. You'll love it once you get used to using it. Make sure you have all your cables with you. You're going to need instrument cables and mic cables. Once again, don't buy no 6-8 foot cables. Get 20, 25 foot cables. You're not going to regret it. Now, when you're practicing at home with your amplifier right beside you, a little 6 to 8 foot cable's fine. Go ahead and do that. The next thing I want you to get is a bag to carry it all in. Don't have cables hanging off your shoulders and microphones sticking out of your pocket and your capos are in your pocket and all that stuff like that. Get you a bag. I use a suitcase with wheels so I can roll it in while I'm carrying my guitar. Make sure you got all that. Now I'm going to give you a couple of tips, a couple of extra tips that's going to help you as a musician. One thing I didn't mention is microphones that much, but the workhorse of the music world for years to me is the SM58 by Shure. Probably one of the best vocal mics that's ever been made as far as what it's designed for. It stands up to a lot of abuse. Probably any recording you've heard of your favorite bands between the 60s to even today, you're hearing people singing through SM58 Shures. Now, a few years back, which is what I used, but a few years back, a band that I played in, we got a deal on 4 microphones. If we bought them, we could get them for $50 a piece. Now, that was these Sennheisers, 835s. They're the 58 equivalent and sound just as good, just as strong. These are usually about $100 a piece, but we got them for $50 a piece. We bought 4 of them, and each one in the band we pitched in, and I got this for $50. So this is what I use now, recording and live. I want to go over tuners. My acoustic has built-in tuner, has the volume control and everything, because I have to have an electrified acoustic when I play on stage. It's just the way it is. I personally like to use microphones when recording. I'll mic in front of it, but on stage I have to plug in. It has a built-in tuner that is really good. It's not the best, but it'll work. I also carry this Boss tuner around for other people to use. It does bass guitar, electric guitar, and it does 4 other open tunings, which is really cool. And this thing was like $35 back in the day. I don't even know if they make it anymore, but get you a good tuner. Now, a lot of people use what they call the snarks. You've seen them. They're cheap. They clip onto your headstock of your guitar, and you can tune real fast. That's fine for an acoustic guitar in a small gig, but I would not recommend using them for an electric guitar or in a professional situation. Get you a good tuner. Now, you can't see it here, but back here in this rack I have, back over this way, I have a Behringer rack system. It's a tuner, and it fine tunes on the money. Now, it was like $80, but it fits in a rack system because I use racks. I don't use foot pedals. I have a rack system with all my effects and everything in it that I use on stage. I just use on and offs and boost pedals on stage. That's all I use. Get you a good tuner. But if you have to, go ahead and get a snark. Use it, because out-of-tune guitar is one of the worst things. You just don't sing good when you got an out-of-tune guitar. Another tip I want to give you, and you're going to like this one, is bar stool. If you're the kind of musician that likes to sit down and play, get you a bar stool. You can get them at Goodwill. You can get them Walmart, Target, really cheap. And here's the tip. You're going to love this. Get a Sharpie. The reason of that is because when you go play, you can tell people that when you're finished playing, come on up here and write something on my bar stool. And here's a Sharpie. Just write something. Write your name, whatever you want to write on. I don't care what it is. Just write on it. And they'll do it. And before long, you'll have hundreds of names on that thing. There'll be pictures. There'll be sayings. There'll be people talking about you. And it's a good way to have a connection with your fans, because the next time they see you, they'll remember you because they say, he's the guy that said I could write on his bar stool. So do that. Let them write on it. Something to remember you by. Now, these are just a few tips that I've wrote down. I hope to help you all become better musicians. I hope to make you a better person. There's plenty more tips. If you have any, after I post this video, if you have any, comment on it. Put it on there, man. You know, because I don't know them all. This is just some off the top of my head that I do. And a lot of my videos, I don't edit these. This is stuff right off the top of my head. So there's going to be mistakes I say and stuff like that. But go ahead and comment on it and let us know what they are. And I'll put it to practice. So look, from here in the mountains of North Carolina, we love you guys. Hope you have a blessed day. God loves you. I love you. Get out there and play some music. Don't be scared. The more you do it, the easier it'll be. And before you know it, you might even get signed. And you'll be making the big money. Have fun. Bye-bye.